My name is Patrick Foley, or Patrick4D as I'm known on social media. I'm a digital chef and 3D artist specializing in photorealistic renderings of food for packaging. That previously was only done for food photographers in that space. I think I had an entrepreneurial mindset before I even knew what that was. From a young age, I was always trying new hobbies, loved cameras, anything that could capture something. What was my greatest weakness turned into be my greatest asset, because the things that I could never focus on as a kid, I still have that today, but it's because I have the freedom to focus on the things I actually found out that I love, that's all I can focus on. And I think that's just what allows me to outwork a lot of my counterparts. I guess what I don't have that a lot of other people have is being in a communal environment, in a room with other people, and you're connecting with people, you're getting lunch with people. With that time that I have to myself, I have the opportunity to go out when I want to. I play tennis every day with some buddies. I'm on Discord, so it's kind of like having these digital coworkers in a sense. And I don't even think it was a discipline thing, hey, I need to focus on work instead of do this. I was just more interested in filming these music videos and doing these productions outside of school. I think that's where some of the luck came too. The fact that I was exposed at a younger age to an industry that I really enjoyed and loved. In high school, I was ahead of my peers because I found film and photography where most kids were just going out on the weekends. That turned into, I'm at SCAD, I'm at a higher level education, and still 4 years ahead. And that turned into, the social media, the Patrick4D, and even when I didn't know what I was doing in 3D, I was posting like I did. And so that went from, this guy that's just testing out 3D stuff, using some of the film principles that he learned in school, into this guy's leading this niche in a space and being recognized by the peers in the industry. You cannot go wrong with putting your work out there, especially in the format that I do where I'm posting so often. And I've come up with ways to where I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I'm able to post content very regularly. It sharpens my skills. When you think of job security, you think of a 9-to-5. But in these times specifically, being freelance is honestly even more secure than having a 9-to-5, because if you're putting all your eggs in one basket, most people are trying to outreach to a client and cold call a client, versus kind of the way I do it. I'm making content, I'm making artworks all the time, and I'm pushing it to the world. When you hone in on a specific niche like I have, it's much easier to pick you out from a crowd versus being a generalist who works or says he works on every single thing. I think a lot of clients are looking into investing in some of the newer technologies around how to get renderings of their products versus just shooting them in-house with a camera. In a client setting, there's nothing sounder to the ears than having full control over the image. Along with having quicker turnaround times, lower costs, because there's just less people working on the productions. Some of the best collaborations happen when you're mixing CG elements with natively shot production photos. The Capello's brand, where I was doing the pizza renderings, we actually combined those with photos of some of the flavor cues and the other assets that were kind of exploding in the air to create a really dynamic photorealistic composite. I couldn't even find any learning content on making food in ZBrush. And I think that's when the light bulb really went off for me. When I started making content and started streaming for ZBrush, I'm nobody's really making content surrounding food in this program. When you think of ZBrush, you think of game assets, you think of weapons, characters. I chose to use it in a way that wasn't really traditionally used. You begin to realize that this program is not to make one specific thing or 2 or 3 specific things. It's to make anything you want to bring to life. There are so many things that were maybe designed with the intention of being used for cloth dynamics. The words in the name. And when I hear cloth dynamics, I think of creating chips. I think of creating table mats. I think of creating different food elements. I probably only know about 10% of ZBrush, if that. And I probably use 5%. And I think that's really important. You can be a figurehead in an industry, but only really use what you need to use. The way I learned, not just ZBrush, but 3D in general, was less of, take this crash course, this master class where you learn every single function. Okay, I want to learn how to do this very specific thing. Learn how to do just that specific thing until it's time and that you're stuck again. You need to learn a different technique. There's people who are super technical that understand software like nobody else. There's very creative people who have ideas for days. And I think the perfect middle ground is that in-between point where you have a vision, you have an idea, but you also have the technical knowledge to take that down. I think it's so much more important to understand which facets of the software cater to what you're trying to make than just learning the whole software. For instance, when I'm making a plantain chip for this company, taking advantage of the cloth transpose tool or the cloth dynamics to get this really organic shape, a much more organic shape than I would have created by hand. Or for Pop-Tarts, creating these little bite-sized pieces, taking advantage of things like the surface noise to create really rigid boundaries of the shape. Using nanomesh to scatter objects all over a surface and then kind of bump them out as a flattened mesh so that I can texture these as one. And I think using these tools to your advantage helps solidify and sell the idea that these are edible foods. I think the takeaway from this is truly the fact that I was a film student that had nothing to do with this industry, but with the help of content accessible to everyone, was able to forge a path to a self-made career. It's funny, I joke around to my friends and colleagues that the renders I'm making in the comfort of my home are ending up on packaging and mass-produced to be seen in stores globally. You know, for a character artist, their highest achievement may be seeing their model in a video game or a movie. For an artist that works on VJ loops, their peak is seeing their work at a festival. And for someone like me, it's literally walking into any grocery store and seeing my work on packaging. And I think that's what it really comes down to, is that if I could do it with nothing other than ZBrush, Cinema 4D, and time dedicated to this craft, so can you.